Okay, so what we're going to demonstrate today is submitting a new installation notification, a new job notification of a dual fuel heating system for the FortisBC program via this mobile app, DSMally, okay? So what we found over the years is that field professionals in particular don't like paper, they don't like computers, and so we have created this app to get all this data in. Now this app's going to populate the commissioning sheet, which will go to you as an installation file. It will also go to the customer, which is a condition of their rebate application, as well as to the program. And so not only is this going to be more convenient for you because it's not paper, because you can use your camera on your phone, so on and so forth, but it's also best for the customer and the program because quality control professionals and also the Fortis people that are justifying the rebate, they're looking for accurate data to justify to continuing offer the money, but also to enable the quality control professionals to verify the job without having to intervene with the customer as often as they would have with paper, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and log in here. Now this is the login page. To submit a new job, I'm gonna first get to the menu so that there's 3 lines, horizontal lines here in the upper left-hand corner. That pops a menu. The third menu item down is job. I put my thumb on that and then I click on add new job. There's only one job type available, and that's dual fuel heating system, so I'll select that. And by the way, the first time you log in, it'll take a moment to load because it has to bring all the form data in. And then in this case, it takes a little bit longer because there are over 75,000 AHRI numbers residing behind this, so you might have to be patient just the first time. There are 4 sections of this form. The first one is the customer and install location. The second one is the system that you sold and installed. The third one is your data, your pre-change out assessment, which is basically related to the capacity of the existing ductwork system and selecting the right heat pump based upon the loads and the airflow capacity that's available in that duct. And then your installation, startup, and commissioning data. And then the fourth one are your photos. Real convenient there. You can use the camera right here on the app, okay? So let's expand the first one. And we're going to start entering a name. And you'll notice that the red data entry hints go away as you begin satisfying the data entry validation, which is convenient. So here you'll see there's an email. So once I enter a valid email address, that goes away. All right, if I entered an invalid one like that, it's still there, okay? Okay, Mary's phone number. Just need to have the right number of digits on that. Okay, for address, so we've made this more convenient now. We've got a lookup into the Google addresses. So if you begin entering a street address, you'll see a short list now present. So I'm going to select this third one down, which is Croydon Drive in Surrey. And you'll see that we have brought what Google says into this form. Now Google, they run into some challenges with conventions, for example, when there's apartment numbers and things like that. So in this particular case, this was a single family home, so it just used the street name as address too, and that's just fine, okay? All right, now, so we're gonna move on here to the system that you sold and installed. And I want you to notice that we're not asking for attributes on the equipment anymore. Ratings, for example, SEER, HSPF, AFUE. We're not asking for capacities anymore. And that's because we have a database sitting behind here by AHRI number where we already have all that information, so that saves you some time as well. So I'll pick yesterday on this date widget for the install date. Gas permit number, that's the permit number, that's just free entry. And now the AHRI number. Now, again, this is going to be a lookup to over 75,000, so it kind of will take a little bit of time, but once you start entering numbers, it'll shortlist it. And again, if you do it real quick, you might have to wait a little bit, but I'm going to enter 72773 is what I want here. Here it is, all right? So it's right in the middle of the lookup. So I'm going to select that. So now the AHRI number is in there, as well as being able to capture all of the underlying elements from the AHRI database or in this case, the qualified product listing, so you don't have to enter those. We move on to contractor issues here. So the first one is to look up what type of heating equipment are you replacing. I'll select the first of the three, which would be a mid or a standard furnace. Now the heat load, design heat loss, whole number entry, and the heat gain, design heat gain. These are from load calculations, obviously. Now our next question is, what load calculation tool did you use? These are the ones that we understand are currently permitted. I'll select the heat TICA. Okay, now the heat pump rated CFM per ton. Make sure you, if you don't already know this, get it from your manufacturer. The heat pump, remember, is going to, it has a greater appetite for air than that furnace that you're taking out because it has a lower temperature rise. And so we just want to make sure that you have assessed that ductwork that's there and that you select a heat pump that certainly isn't oversized for the loads, but isn't oversized for the duct capacity either, okay? I'll select 350 to 375 CFM per ton. And then we're asking you to attest that, yes, you verified that there is enough air available in that air distribution system for the heat pump size that you selected, and then how you did that, okay? So most of you probably will clock that before you take that old furnace out, you'll clock the input and then measure the temperature rise and then estimate the CFM based upon that. That's the sensible heat formula. But we do permit, all your other methods if you can locate the blower tables on that old furnace, or if you measure it through a flow grid or flow hood, or perhaps through the duct size tables that are offered through CEE and NCI and other methods, okay? Now we get into the install stuff, okay? And with the heat pump itself on the refrigerant charge, we're simply asking, did you verify the factory default or did you adjust the charge? For the furnace, we get into all of the queries that have always existed for the furnace programs, all right? So I'll select a 2-stage furnace, inlet gas pressure, manifold pressure, high fire, so I'm sorry, it's low fire first, and then high fire. All right, now you're clocking the meter, so we'll assume that this is a 60,000 BTU furnace, and once you clocked it, it was 58,456. Okay, now we get into the airflow subsystem, so your static pressure drops. So your return air, your pressure drop across the air filter. Now I know that, there's a remote chance that the filter may be internal. That's really rare. Obviously, if it is internal, there is no static pressure drop. That would be 0. But 99.9% of the time, you're selecting and adding a filter and building out the filter box. So you'll have to account for that air pressure drop there. And now we have an A-coil. So when it was furnace only, we never had a pressure drop across the A-coil because one never existed. So now you got to account for that. Please talk to your manufacturer or the ACA specifications on how to, what the before and after on that pressure drop is. And then the supply air pressure drop, okay. Then we ask for the maximum rated total external static pressure. That'll be in the product data, right in the install manual. Now, more times than not, it's going to be 0.8. Sometimes it's as low as 0.5. But again, what the manufacturer, what the program is seeking here is just for you to verify that the measured total external static pressure does not exceed the factory maximum rated, okay? Otherwise, you've got a lot of problems. You've got a lot of less airflow, you've got underperformance, you've got a blower that's going to give out here shortly, so on and so forth. Blower motor. And then the final question on the airflow subsystem is the CFM, okay, which you can now get from the blower tables because you have the measured total external static pressure. Now we get into temperatures, the measured return air temperature. This is imperial. And then the minimum and the maximum. Usually that's going to be 40 to 70, unless it's a small furnace, okay? And again, you're just verifying here now, and you're helping to verify that the measured rise is within the factory rated range, above the minimum, below the maximum. Okay, now we get into switching to backup heat, which is going to be important here. Okay, so you're setting that up as well. And how did you determine what that switchover temperature should be? The system, what method does it use to switch over? And then the temperature. And this is in Celsius, not imperial. The other ones are imperial. Filter media type, filter dimensions, MERV rating for the filter, and then we attest that you have educated the homeowner on all your setup and whatever else they need to know about maintaining, not necessarily maintaining, but the system operation itself and the maintenance of it. And then did you provide them the materials, okay? Whatever they need, all of the manufacturer data, any programmatic data, those types of things, warranty data, so on and so forth. Now, the final section is the photos. And what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to use the photo gallery on my phone because I'm presently sitting in my office. You will want to use the camera because we geotag those to the location, okay? Now, you could, in theory, use your camera and then, go sit in the truck and add them, and you're going to be at that location as well. But the important point is that for geotagging, location tagging, it's going to be where the device is, your phone is, at the time that you add these photos to this job, okay? So again, camera, photo gallery. You're going to want to use camera. I'm going to use photo gallery so I can get some legit photos. So I just added that old furnace. I'm going to call it the old mid furnace. You can call it whatever you want. The old furnace doesn't have to be installed when you take this photo. But, just make sure that it's still, I'm sure it is still at the site, but make sure you can still get a picture of it so that the quality control person knows, and also the justifiers of the incentive know what is being taken out, because that's obviously the baseline compared to what's going in. Okay, the new heat pump, outdoor unit. Taking a moment to add that one. You'll see it gives you an indicator at the top when it's been successfully added, and we also give you a thumbnail of it. New indoor system. Probably want to stand back a little bit compared to that photo that you just saw so that the quality control professional can see the entire indoor system. That's what you want. You want the quality control person to accept the data without having to intervene with the customer. So, you want all this data to be legit, obviously, but also so that it's verifiable. Okay, two-pipe venting. The thermostat. So I'm going to add this and explain real quick. So there are some, FortisBC doesn't necessarily require a new thermostat for all programs, all rebates, if you will, but the photo is helpful, whether you're repurposing the existing one or you're adding a new one, okay? And that's going to add, and now this final one I need to give a little bit of commentary too. So this is the heat pump performance curve. This is the curve that your manufacturers publish that help you in the selection and setup of this new dual fuel system. Please get those from your manufacturers. We've talked to a couple of them who have, in one case, I think it was Natural Resources Canada, in the other case, NEEP. They've already submitted them to these entities, so they may refer you to one of those organizations. Either way, the curve for the selected heat pump is a required document. So this is the last piece that we have to add now. So once that's added, you'll look in the lower right-hand corner and you'll see a little action icon show up here that's a pencil. Once you put your thumb on that, it says save. So once all of the entries are satisfied, you'll be able to get this save button, and you'll just thumb on that. And then you'll see at the top it says submitted successfully. So now your job has been submitted. The commissioning sheet will be populated. It will be sent to you as an install file. It will be sent to the customer for their rebate application. It will be sent to Fortis for their quality control and their measurement and verification professionals that justify these programs. So really, that's it.